Hi, everybody. It's the Week in the Tackle podcast, our Friday edition. Week in the Tackle predicts the weekend, where me, Tom Rennie, the raconteur, and yes, many people's fantasy, and Brian Dunny Dunseth, the man who played for all the clubs in MLS and now lives in the centre of America because the coast don't want him, look ahead to a selection of things this weekend we think are going to happen or not happen in a segment we call What's Your Shanker and What's Your Banker. How are you, Dunny? All right?
Yeah, I'm good. I loved our intro. We should have used the original intro. There's a lot of F-bombs being dropped. There was like 6 sorry Tims. But yeah, here we are. We can still ruin his afternoon.
Before we get into our Shanker and Banker, I've got to mention that I am going on Saturday night, having covered the Leeds game against Newcastle early doors for Premier League Live and our international partners, including SiriusXM FC in the USA. I'm doing a Eurovision party. I'm going to be at a Eurovision party being held in in Liverpool this year, not in Leeds. I'll be in Leeds. The party's going to be in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Where we're hosting because Ukraine couldn't do it. England came second. The UK came second. The great Sam Ryder. I'm up in space, man. Great song. And we're hosting it in Liverpool this year. Are you pumped about Eurovision? It's like 32 countries, if you don't know this, all doing a song, and it gets voted by a selection of international juries, but also the general public from across Europe and for some reason Australia. And it's going to be broadcast on Peacock, I think, in the USA, on BBC One in England, all over the place. And I'm doing a Eurovision party with different kind of Euro-themed games and food. And I unashamedly love it. And I'm looking forward to it.
Good for you. I couldn't give a flying Tom Rennie. Sorry, Tim. I would much rather spend a night at home on the couch with the kids watching Ted Lasso or Skinwalker Ranch, as opposed to watching whatever that thing is you just talked about.
Skinwalker Ranch sounds a bit adult. What's that?
Oh, yes.
Is it a bit adult?
Let me tell you something. It's the continual search for UAPs, aliens, and other existing entities on a ranch out here in Utah, which my friends work there, and we got to visit last summer. So, if you ever wanna be friends with a guy named Dragon, let me know.
I've always
Dragon's my homie.
That.
Yeah, Dragon's my homie. Skinwalker Ranch. Great show.
Can I just read you this? It might draw you into Eurovision. It comes from a Twitter page I really enjoy called Technically Ron. If you don't know Eurovision, I just thought this was terrific. And I sent this to someone who's going to be at the party this week, who's very much like you. Just a doomster and a gloomster. Unlike me, a very positive outlook.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. He says, when it comes to Eurovision, at least, unless Newcastle have lost against Leeds, in which case I'm just going to bed with the ump. He said, "It's Eurovision week, the greatest event on the planet. What are the rules? Write a song. Should it be good? Shut up. How weird can it be? Yes. Are all the countries from Europe? What are you, a cop? Who wins? There's no way to tell. Should you be excited? Yes." So there you go.
Yeah, brilliant.
Good luck to May Muller, who's released some just rubbish song that isn't going to win. Anyway, so this weekend, we are looking at the footballing weekend. You can pick anything you want from Premier League, MLS, European soccer, whatever you want. What is your banker, Dunny, this weekend that's definitely going to happen in the world of football? And tell us why.
Yeah, it's going to be on a Monday, so it won't be technically the weekend, but it'll still be the weekend matches. I'm going to go Leicester City. What did I have? One goal for Dean Smith and company. But for Jurgen Klopp, I'm going to say 3 goals. And I'm going to say that Mo Salah will be my goal scorer. So good news for Tim Horsey.
And can you tell us why you're so confident in this Liverpool side who have not exactly risen to all the occasions this year?
Yeah, I just think that they will understand what's ahead of them. You will already have seen Newcastle play and what the result looks like out on the roads at Leeds United. You will already know what Manchester United has done at home against Wolves. And you will also recognize you are just a single solitary point outside of a Champions League spot. And how crazy it was to think that just a month and a half ago, Liverpool was in the conversation for a mid-table finish. Now, potentially, with this run, they could be a Champions League top 4 finisher.
Well, they always come good, don't they? They always come good at some point during the season and get a bunch of really rubbish victories. I think it's 5 in a row, 6 in a row now. Yeah. Didn't really deserve any of them, but they got them. My banker this weekend. Now, I'll be doing this game on Saturday. And so I have like personal sort of fears that Leeds and Sam Allardyce, who, by the way, was the Bolton Wanderers manager when West Ham went down on 42 points 20 years ago, JJ Okocha and all that sort of stuff with a record amount. He's since been West Ham manager and kept us up. So do we forgive him? No. But he's gone in at Leeds, and because he's so great at press conferences and they didn't get totally humiliated at Man City, there's this whole vibe that they're going to be able to beat Newcastle, beat West Ham, beat Tottenham, stay up. I don't see it. And I actually, begrudgingly, because of the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, have a lot of time for Newcastle and respect, not necessarily for how amazing their football is or whatever, but how incredibly effective they have been this season. And in games like this, Everton, Leicester, West Ham, rubbish teams away from home, where you start to think to yourself, God, they've got a lot to play for. Newcastle could be in trouble here. Bam, 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 bam. Zoom in on Jason Tyndall's smiling smug chops. And they win it convincingly. And I think this is the end of the Big Sam, happy Big Sam. And we're now to Sam Henney for the next few weeks. And he's going to have to rage in ump against West Ham and Tottenham, because Leeds will be stuck on 30 points. I think Newcastle, as a banker this weekend, are going to go to Ellen Road, quiet the crowd, and give them an old-fashioned thumping at Ellen Road. That's what I think is definitely going to happen. And I think it's going to happen because my gut tells me it's not going to happen. And as our predictions on Around the Grounds will show you this year on Grumpy Pundits on Sirius XM FC, I'm not great at doing it. So I'm now doing like the George Costanza. I'm doing the anti-instinct. Yeah. It's coming out.
The double jinx. I got you. My shanker this weekend. I'm going to go with Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going to say that Aston Villa is going to beat Tottenham 2-1. And here's why. I think that Tottenham are going to try to avoid Europe at all costs. It's been a disaster. The fact that they aren't in Champions League, the fact that is Europa League still within touching distance? Technically, yes, but technically no. And I think that if they can avoid Conference League as well, they will be in a decent position. It won't be the same as being Chelsea and prepared for next season because of the extraordinary amounts of money that has been paid and paid for certain individual players, but I just think it will maybe give them a better leg up on next season should they avoid all of Europe, even though egotistically that's a huge punch in the nose, Tom Rennie.
I'll never understand when you say things like this. I saw
you and my wife.
I saw a few Tottenham people this week talking about the prospect of this being a Conference League shootout and being happy to lose it. And I just kept thinking, the point of the exercise here is to have a glorious season and win something.
But it's Tottenham.
No, I get that. But look.
Would you rather see Brighton? I'd rather see Brighton in Europe than Tottenham.
I would rather see anyone in Europe than Tottenham because they're just not going to be bothered about it and whinge about it the whole time. Man United are in the Europa League. We're better than this. Yada, yada, yada. Boring. So... but when I hear Tottenham fans talk about it, I think you've not won anything for 20 years. The whole narrative is win something with Kane before he leaves. If you go into that competition as the Premier League team, you should walk it, especially if you've got Harry actual Kane. And they're like, no, we'd rather have a season when we might finish fourth. A total waste of time. Qualify for it, win it, and have some fun. Look how utterly crap this West Ham season has been.
Yeah.
But they might win the Conference League. And if they do, it's something. And in general, what we get is nothing. And you can't all be Man United, which is, we only won one trophy this year and bought £200 million worth of players and have done the majority of the biggest transfers in football history. Glazers out. We want Qataris. Bring in Ratcliffe. He loves, all that stuff. So, something to really moan about. Tottenham, win it, get in it. My shanker this weekend. See, my shanker was going to be Newcastle, but I can't pick it because I'm going to reverse jinx it. So I'm going to reverse jinx this as well. Man City. Man City, this could be a real shank this weekend. Going to Goodison. Daichi basically has got the beat test Luddites, winning corners and in getting results. What a smash and grab it was against Brighton last week. There'll be confidence in the camp. Goodison Park will be rocking for this game against Man City. Goodison, every single year when they've been crap for 34 games, gets them over the line. Last year it was Palace, and this year he's got to do Pep Roulette. I think he'll play Haaland. You think he won't. And because you think he won't, I'm going to reverse jinx it and agree with you. City go weak. Everton go strong. I'm not going to go mental and pick Everton win. But I do think there could be some shared points here, considering how bad City have been away from home in some games this season as well. Palace springs to mind in recent times. And a couple of drop points. Arsenal win that spectacular game against Brighton, which immediately follows. It's all back on again, Danny. Arsenal could win the league.
We shall see, Rennie. We shall see.
That's our predictions for the forthcoming weekend. Of course, watch the weekend and subscribe to the full podcast on Tuesday of Week in the Tackle. And also, make sure you leave us a really nice review. We'd like some long written reviews wherever you can leave your reviews. We'll read out some of the best ones on our Friday show. We may well do a couple of question times as well before we go on a bit of a summertime hiatus. And we'll see you on Tuesday for the full program, which you can subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts, and you can also watch in full on YouTube as well. I'm Tom Rennie, that is Brian Dunseth. Tim Horsey produces the program, and we will speak to you again on Tuesday.